Let's see the new updates on the war. What's going on?
Mr. President, welcome to the Axios show.
Thank you.
We wanted to make this more of a conversation than a typical interview where we're just going to hop around from topics.
Of course, it's going to be a softball interview or else it wouldn't happen.
Okay.
Topic. And we wanted to do, Axios likes to do one big thing.
Okay.
And so the one big thing we want to talk about is power and how you think about it and how you wield it. A decade ago, you first became president, and you've had loads of experience since then. In that span of time, what is the one big thing you've learned about wielding power?
Well, I think you have to do it judiciously. I think that
Judiciously? The first thing he said.
experience is good. I always say that potential is far more important. In other words, having ability is far more important than experience, but having both is very good. And I learned a lot during the first administration. And I was told just the other day, because, we had a tremendous G7.
G7.
Very dominant G7.
I'm pissing on your lawn.
And
I'm
somebody said
pissing in the Strait of Hormuz.
the other day that this is a far more powerful administration or term than the first one. And we had a good first term. We had the best economy. We had a lot of good things happening. We rebuilt the military. We did a good job.
Yeah, we moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. We recognized that as the capital. Great first term. We let Jared Kushner be in charge. Instead of draining the swamp, Jared Kushner took the reins.
But I feel it's a more powerful term than the first one. Now, that comes with experience. It also comes by having somebody precede you who was a disaster. I mean, the man was a
So immediately
disaster.
he's trying to project power after losing a war to Iran. It's he realizes he's losing a war because it went from freeing Iran and unconditional surrender to, hey, let me give you $400 billion, $300 million.
And so when you're compared to somebody like that, you look maybe better than you are. That's possible. But I feel that it's a very powerful administration right now.
You mentioned the G7. You saw a number of world leaders. You walked in and you said, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
How many of them believe that?
All of them. But I was just being funny.
Uh-huh.
What happened is they were all sitting, and then I walked into the room, and it was just sort of funny because it was a very long table, but there's only 7 of them. The table was meant for like 30 people. So the
Perfect example of how people use humor to deflect from taking accountability for their words. If you're seen as a comedian, then you can say whatever you could say what you believe in without being responsible for your own words.
whole end of the table looked like almost a perfect podium type setup, right? And I saw them all sitting. They're all well-known figures, right? The heads of countries. We had a couple of others in there too, as you know. Some, like as an example, Modi of India, great.
Modi, Israel is the fatherland. Wonder why he was there. And Oswald, people like that will never talk about that. It's crazy that this happens. It just flies over people's heads. Trump said he would go to war for India. Again, let me repeat that. I don't think you understand. Trump said he would go to war to fight India's enemies. Not only are we fighting Israel's wars, now Trump is saying we're going to fight India's wars. I thought you cared about white replacement. I thought you cared about America first. I thought you wanted to care about the domestic issues, fentanyl crisis, debt crisis. Now we're potentially and probably going to fight wars for India? I thought you were a nationalist. Why are you silent?
Great guy. A lot of people came. They're allowed to come if they want and sit. But I walked in there, these leaders, and I just looked at them. I said, I'm the boss, and you remember. And that was done as a joke. This thing got carried all over the world. I can't believe it. I was just being cute, funny. I wasn't
pretending to not like it. It's like, oh my God, people said I'm good looking. He's like, I said the boss, and everyone talks about it. Dude, you're not the boss and you know it. You're coping right now because Bibi owns you and you lost against Iran in a 2v1. You're done.
trying to be the boss.
You have experience, obviously, with world leaders from your 2 terms. What's your definition of a great leader? How do you define?
Well, you have so many different types of leaders. Yesterday, as an example, I'll mention the name again because pretty great. All my life I've watched India. They just kept changing. Somebody would be there for 6 months and then a year. And then all of a sudden, Prime Minister Modi ends up there. He's been there for more than 12 years. Very solid. And he does it through there's a great calmness. And yet he's not a calm person. He's a very tough guy. I know him very well. And you have such different leaders. I watched Brazil, the leader who I know a little bit. We have some. He's a very volatile person. You know,
You're not a fan of Lula, if I'm not
I'm
mistaken.
not a fan or not a fan. I don't think about him, to be honest with you. I don't really think about him. I couldn't care less. But he's a different kind of a personality, very volatile. I watched as he made a speech, and it was a very volatile, and it's fine. It's all different types. So when you say about leaders, when you say about, what do they all have in common? Look, they're all smart. You can't get to that level without being smart.
Wow.
It's very smart.
Now glazing India. So demonizing Somalis in Minnesota, but glazing India. They're so smart. Great people.
Smart is President Xi of China. He's a very smart man.
Oh my gosh.
You don't get to those levels where you're running a country, even if it was a small country. You have something special. Now, in some cases, it doesn't work out.
Went from China's the enemy to Xi Jinping as a genius.
But you need something special. It's not an easy thing to do.
What is it about Xi that you find most admirable?
So we have a very good relationship. And you probably heard me say yesterday, I said, I want to thank him because he didn't get involved with the whole thing with Iran. He could have gotten involved. He could have sent a nice oil ship surrounded by 12 destroyers and see if he could blast his way through the blockade, which was an unbelievable military. I think it's going to go down as one of the great military maneuvers. It was every bit as important as all the bombing we did. It really, they were dying. They had no money, no nothing for months. But
so then why did you not do what you said you were going to do? So then why did they win? If you destroyed them, then you would control the Strait of Hormuz with the Ayatollah, like you said.
President Xi, I asked him, I said, I'd really appreciate you not getting involved. And he was great. He didn't get involved. And I think if somebody else would have said that, I don't think somebody else would have even asked him that. But I did. I get along with him well. He's a strong man. He's no games. He won't sit down and say, "Oh, what a beautiful day. This is a wonderful day, Mark. Look how beautiful. Look at the sunshine." There's none of that stuff. It's like all business, which I like. I think it's great.
Is there something about the Chinese system that you think advantages him and his country that you wish you were here?
Well,
definitely, because he said he was going to give 500,000 student visas to Chinese people.
It's actually supposed to be a disadvantage. We have the entrepreneurship and all the things you read about, but they're there just about as quick as we are. You go to something's hot, and we get there, and the Chinese are standing there before us. Or we beat them by a little bit. But I'll tell you, we're beating them on AI. We have the strongest military in the world. We have the most powerful military in the world. He admitted to me.
He lost to Iran.
We have the most powerful. I did a great job. I rebuilt our military in the first term and did it well. Look, take a look at Venezuela. 48 minutes, the whole thing was over. 48 minutes. And by the way, now we have a great relationship, and we've paid for that war with Venezuela many, many, many times. We're taking out millions of barrels of oil. And
so funny. Now he calls it a war. Remember they were calling it a military operation to get away with it? Now it's a war.
We're making them more money than they've ever made before. All the big oil companies are moving in. It's amazing. There's no place with that kind of oil. I guess us, maybe we have the most.
They were caught transferring $2 billion worth of oil directly to Israel from Venezuela. The reason that Venezuela happened, and I was saying this all year, if you remember the streams, if you're here in January, a lot of the base American nationalists were chipping out, "Oh my God, Venezuela, this is so great." I said, no, this is because if they want to go to war with Iran, the first thing Iran's going to do is close the Strait of Hormuz. So they need a different supply of oil. This is why Venezuela is happening, not because of Monroe Doctrine, not to free Venezuela like the Venezuelans were chipping about. This is to get a war with Iran. One, to get Trump a little bit of bloodthirsty taste of how fun war is. And two, because you need oil. But obviously the oil's not as good. The supply is not as strong as it is from the Strait. And then they had to capitulate. I told everybody, and they said, "Oh, you hate America." Look now. Yay, America. Freedom. Yes. Based. Fascism. Yes. Venezuela. Good. Monroe Doctrine. Bombing a Christian country. Great. Look now. $2 billion worth of oil barrels sent to Israel. And also, where has that money gone? Yay, we're stealing oil. Then why are the oil prices up? Where's the benefit? How did we see it?
And they're probably second or third.
Obviously, if I ask you who are the two greatest or leaders you like the most on the world stage, I'd assume one of them is G.
Bibi and Epstein.
Yeah, I think in terms of leadership, I think that's true.
Well, who's the other? When you think of power and leverage and the ability to execute on that.
Well, I think Modi is very good, yeah.
Wow. Very telling, huh? His favorite leader is Modi, the Indian leader. And so all the base right, and this is why they have to be paid. Because their talking points are that they don't want immigrants from the third world. Trump just said his favorite leader besides himself is Modi. India! India! So clearly you've showed your hand. You don't actually care about white replacement. You don't actually care about third world immigrants. You don't care about white genocide like you claim you do. If you do, you would call this out. So it's either you're a retard or you're getting paid by them. The lobby has to be paying you, or you're just dumb, or you just look away when this stuff happens because you don't want to admit you're wrong. Has to be that. Modi.
They've had some very good numbers announced. He
Someone in
stays.
the chat, Third Rome said, "Oh, SNEAKO crying again." I'm crying. Well, okay, your leader right here is saying India is his favorite country. Modi's the best leader. So, are you on board with this? Like, they will do anything. Their ego is so high, they will defend immigrants from India rather than admit they were wrong. That shows you don't care about any of the things you talk about. Why do you hate Indians? I love India. Shout out to India. The double standard here is that all day long they say brown people bad, third world bad. We don't want immigrants. Trump says, here's 1 million H-1B visas. Yes, we'll fight your war for you, India. And none of them say anything. The only unifying idea they have is hating Muslims. The only reason Trump sees Modi, the only reason he's glazing Modi, because Modi's Hindu. And India is predominantly Hindu. That's it.
Just smart. He's
and also they side with Israel and they hate Pakistan, predominantly Muslim. So
5 billion people. He's actually the biggest. India's actually the biggest. Modi's a great leader, and we do a lot of business with them, but now we do fair business. They used to really rip us off. I don't blame them for that. You know, we had stupid politicians, but that allowed that to happen. But now we do a lot of business. They're not that happy about it because they used to do a lot better. So, but Modi's great. President Xi is great. Classics, you know. I mean, if you were going to make a movie about either one of them, you wouldn't be able to find the man in Hollywood. I'm telling you, it's as an example, the look of Xi. He's got a great look, you know. Looks don't matter, right? You know, we don't like that. They say don't talk about looks.
But he's like a parody of himself. This is like everyone's impression of the look of Xi. He's got a great look. Nobody has his look. It's just
he's tall. He's 6'2". He's
Do you want to sleep with him, bro? What? He's tall. He's handsome. He's good looking. He's charming. He's hot. He's sexy. I would in his eye. I'd slip it in.
Got a great stature. He's got great confidence, and he's smart. Modi in a very different way, just highly respected. I've seen, you know, I know that
like it's got to the point now, like the leader of the Western world is saying he's 6'2". So what does that have to do with his leadership capabilities? His height? Basically, Trump just said Xi Jinping mogs. That's why he likes him. He's a mogger. He's a looks maxer.
The real Modi is a very tough cookie. I'll tell you, I got to know something that I didn't know very well in Pakistan. You have the field marshal, who's great. Munir, he's great. And you have the prime minister, and they just get along great. I figured, well, maybe the military guy he totally respects the prime minister. It's a beautiful thing to see. But they really helped us with this deal. They were, you know, they knew the Iranians, they knew the people, and they were good. You have leaders you have so many different types.
Interesting. I thought it was America. It kind of sounds like a globalist right now. I feel like if Obama was saying the things he's saying about India, Pakistan, China, talking about the great leaders around, I think they would criticize it and say it's globalism, but it's coming from Trump and they look quiet.
For the most part, if you're a smart person, you can understand, you know, you have to be in these positions. You have to be smart. You have to be tough, maybe smart even more so, but the combination is probably better. But there are a lot of great leaders out there, and there are a lot of really bad ones.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
I know. Who's the bad one?
Who are the two weakest?
Well, I can't say that because
you're the president.
I can't say. I will tell you, though, that this couple of days was interesting. It was held in France, and Emmanuel Macron of France, who won't be there that much longer, he's the president, and he was, I'll tell you what, he did.
Is this why he loves India before he gets to France?
Vote for Donald Trump. Make world Make world great again, Donald Trump. Vote for Donald Trump. Make world great again. Save Hindu.
Yeah, maybe.
A great job of hosting The G7, really good. No game.
Sorry, last one.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump.
Games, no nothing. And he invited me about a week before. He said, would you do me a favor? Would you come into Paris? We'd like to honor you. I view it as honoring the nation. But he said, I'd like to honor you. And he had the biggest people in Europe there and beyond. I mean, some people in Versailles. And I was sort of not going to do it, but he knew my weakness because I think Versailles.
Ooh, okay, sorry. What is this, bro?
This Donald Trump temple in Telangana is going viral again after the US president hiked tariffs on Indian goods over Russian oil purchases, sparking mockery of his god status amid economic tensions.
Make world great again.
Flashback, let's go back to where it all started. Back in 2019, a devoted farmer named Bussa Krishna built a temple for Donald Trump in Konne village after seeing him in a dream. Krishna spent 2 lakh rupees to install a 6-foot Trump statue, garlanded it, poured water over it, fasted and prayed daily for Trump's health and re-election, hoping to foster Indo-US friendship. Krishna passed away in 2020, reportedly heartbroken when Trump fell ill with COVID-19. These days, Krishna's family and villagers still clean the shrine, drape Trump's statue in garlands, and offer prayers. But after Trump's latest tariff blow to India, the internet can't stop talking about the irony of worshipping a god who's now straining India's trade ties. From idols to import duties, the jokes and debates on...
It's so bad. Anyway, I want this support.
Is one of the great places.
What's your weakness?
Like places like Versailles. But no, it's incredible. So, and it's not something they do. I understand that they don't do that. They don't do dinners at Versailles. And we had a fantastic dinner. I think he did a fantastic job, I'll tell you, with the G7. I've seen G7s. I've been to a lot of G7s, and it used to be G8s. They should have kept the G8. You probably wouldn't have the war with Russia and Ukraine if they did, but Obama didn't want Putin there. I guess one or two others also, but they wanted Putin out. It used to be the G8. Would have been much better if they kept that way.
What the heck? What is this? Dude, what the... Military... Wait, I want to see this.
Not always raining. There'll be days like this when there's no one complaining.
You're good to me.
Days like this.
Oh, is it an Uber ad? What the That was like a military recruitment ad.
Shift to Iran. There's now light at the end of the tunnel for the conflict. What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power as a result of the conflict?
Does this guy freak you out a little bit? Something about the way, like, his face is too small. Charlie Kirk had that face. It's like too small for his head. It looks like a disguise almost. Is this a Mossad agent, like in a skin suit? Something's weird, right?
There are no limits.
No.
I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but there are no limits. We defeated them totally militarily. I was asked by Pakistan, because they're close, to please not do any more. I said, I like them a lot. I think that there are no limits. We have the most powerful military in the world, by far. Who else could have done a blockade like that? I did a naval blockade.
A naval blockade? Then why did you give them $300 billion? If it was such a good naval blockade, then you wouldn't be begging them to reopen the strait, bro. That's so ridiculous. Second, the way he keeps reiterating, the strongest military, strong. It reminds me of Top Goy saying, I'm the most famous, I'm a celebrity. When you're losing a position you once had, you have to keep yelling and declaring it to reinforce what you don't have anymore. If you actually were what you claim to be, it would be unspoken. You would know it to be true.
You look like a literal monkey.
And you're here giving me money, dummy. If you were actually that powerful and you were actually that famous, then it would speak for itself. But they know the position's changing, and so to try a last-ditch attempt to keep that the way it was, you got to yell it and declare it on interviews.
When not one ship was able to get through, some tried. They didn't, it didn't last very long.
And it certainly brought Iran to the table more than before. However, beginning a conflict, you had talked about you only wanted unconditional surrender. And the MOU doesn't look like unconditional surrender.
Well, it really probably is unconditional surrender.
It is?
I think so. Look. They have no military. What? They're all at the bottom of the sea. 159 ships. That's what they
He said that they can keep their missile capabilities because it's not fair because Saudi has missiles. If it was unconditional, then he gave him $324 billion. That's a condition.
Sure,
and literally a memorandum of understanding is by definition conditional. That's why it failed and why the straits closed again.
could still menace. They only had these small, gusty boats or go fast
look, you
boats.
call it what you want. You know, I hear the JCPOA, the Obama nuclear catastrophe, which was so bad. When Obama left, he didn't hit their military.
Sure.
He didn't damage their Navy or destroy their Air Force. I destroyed the Air Force. I destroyed their anti-aircraft weapons. That's why we were flying over there totally unimpeded. We turned off all the stealth. They couldn't do a damn thing. He didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't kill their leadership. I did twice, 2.5 times to be exact. He didn't do anything to Soleimani. I killed Soleimani.
And you killed the Ayatollah.
And I killed the
And
Ayatollah.
a number of IRGC officials.
And I
multiple-
sadly hurt the other Ayatollah, who I will tell you, I did not meet him, I did not speak to him, but people were speaking to him. But he's got a certain braveness because he's badly injured.
Oh, the second.
I don't like presidents now just saying straight up that they're murderers. I didn't hear this rhetoric from Obama, from, when I was growing, they would always claim that it was in self-defense. The fact that he's straight up saying, I killed, this is a new development from our administration.
Yes,
the
the son.
the
Yeah.
John Jr. Nevertheless, all of those things being true,
Well, you can't just say, oh, forget about it.
No,
Excuse me. I wiped out their military.
I don't dispute that.
For those people that say, oh, maybe I wasn't tough enough, I've wiped out.
Notice how Mossad cut out the contentious parts. He's getting pressed for failing, and they had to edit it.
I took out their biggest bridge because they showed up late at the meeting. They said that wasn't very nice. You know that bridge? I said George Washington Bridge. I wiped it out in 3 minutes. I took out Carg Island, everything except one thing. I said, leave the pipes alone because, I'm not looking to damage the world economy. So I think we were very tough. The people that say, oh, he could have been tougher. The entire military is gone. Ready? Air Force is gone. Do you agree? It's gone.
Dude,
Wiped out.
this is one big cope session, bro. This is like therapy. This is, he is not who he thought he was. The military is not as strong. And so he's here literally trying to self-delude himself. And even this shill here is like, well, actually, no, you said they can keep their missiles. Actually, you gave them all this money. Actually, you said they could defend themselves. It seems like they won. It sounds like this is not unconditional. It sounds like Epic Fury failed. It was an epic failure. It sounds like there's no regime change because there's still an Ayatollah. It's cope.
There's no airplane.
Yes.
There's no airplanes. They had a lot of them. They had 200 of them. They're all gone. Navy, 159 ships, right? All at the bottom of the sea. Leadership.
You said OSS raid. Can someone teach Unc Myron how to go and raid properly, bro? Shout out to OSS and Myron. I appreciate it, my bro. But bro, does he not know how to host channel? It's just that I think he just did a fake raid because he couldn't figure it out. Is he going to say the same thing about Discord, that like Discord's for black people? That's what he says. Dude, you just go here to your dashboard and it says host channel and you click it. You see that? Look, I'm literally doing an Indian tutorial right now. I'm just like Modi. India! Look, right here, host channel. You click it and then you press SNEAKO. It's not complicated.
First stringers, all gone, including Khomeini, the first one. They then put a new group in there, very good, but very nasty. I dealt with them. They're gone. They're all gone. Then we're dealing with the third group, who I actually think
he did it properly. Thank you, Myron, for the host. I appreciate it, Maha. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, now let's have a race war in the chat while we watch this Trump Cope interview.
Smartest group. And I actually think it's regime change, if you want to know the truth.
Wait, did Myron already watch this interview? Because it's going to be, no, they're spamming watermelon emojis. Okay, that's Myron's chat. That's my. Wait, did Myron just follow my tutorial? Did I do one of those tutorials? You know when you're trying to figure out a YouTube feature and the first thing they say is, make sure you click the like and subscribe before you do it. Chat, oh my god, it's just covered in watermelon emojis right now and fried chicken. Is this what you guys do? How is there an emote of Kash Patel in here? Did he already react to this interview? Could someone tell me? Stop putting watermelon emojis for 5 seconds to tell me.
How is a regime change if you
because they're different people.
But you have Khamenei Jr., you still have a lot of IRGC officials there.
They're different people.
All right.
Khamenei Jr. is different from the father.
You have a number.
And we have people that are much less radicalized than the previous two groups, of which I knew them both. But think of it. Oh, why aren't you tougher? The only way I can get tougher is if I go in there for another 2 or 3 weeks and continue to bomb the hell out of them, right? But what does that get us? The Strait of Hormuz will not be open. Let's say
therefore their military is still intact.
Let's say I decided to do that. I was a decision I had to make. So right now our stock market is through the roof. The oil prices are tumbling. The oil prices are practically the
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
same as they were before I started. The big difference is that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon, okay? It's very clear and very simple. But if I were hitting them right now, when you stopped, if we're not going to put boots on the ground, okay? I mean, you know what?
Yeah, probably after the midterms.
Put boots on the ground, right? If we're not going to put boots on the ground, probably the same people, they go deep into the caves. They're called granite caves. They're very powerful. They go deep in, and then when we stop, they'll come up and they'll probably be the same leaders. So nothing. Okay, ready? When I knock them out, we knock them out so powerfully, we would right now have the Hormuz Strait would be totally closed. It would have mines all over it, and it would have missiles flying over billion-dollar ships, and those ships will never sail. We wouldn't have oil for months. As long as you're dropping bombs, that thing is automatically closed because those ships cost $500 to $1 billion apiece. They're not going to be sailing with rockets. So just to finish, I just looked. Oil is tumbling.
I caught it. One of my own chatters, OSS Baby, just said cute co. Someone get him. OSS Bobby, we found one. We got one. Get on him. Get him. The chat looks like it, bro. It looks like an initiation to the Crips right now. This looks like, when they jump somebody into a gang. This is crazy right now. Kind of like it.
Ships are roaring out of there. They want to go home. They want to drop. They're all full with oil. This is a gusher. I mean, we have 700 or 800 ships are leaving. But if I attack them, none of those ships are leaving. The stock market is way up, way up. The stock market is up over the last 4 or 5 days when it looks like we're going to make a deal.
He's saying it's up because it's up like in a 2-day period. He said in a speech at the G7 summit, G7, that every time he would say that there's peace, the stock market would flatten out. Every time he said war, every time epic fury strikes, unconditional surrender, prices would go all the way up. Oil would go up. He knows that his words are manipulating the stock market. So yeah, leveled out now, but look 1 day later when Israel drags us back into war. What does it look like? Is it really stable?
Stock market's up thousands of points. Everybody's richer. Now, would you rather have that or be like some stupid people? I'd be honest with you. I lost respect for some people because
Who'd you lose respect?
I don't want to mention the names.
Oh, you can.
But
Pete Hegseth and JD Vance.
hardliners. Oh, we got to take them out yet.
Well, what are you going to
Let me tell you. And plus, I'm not looking to kill people. I have one primary wish.
You're not looking to kill people. He posted on Truth Social he wants to wipe their civilization.
As president,
Oh, he's talking about Mark Levin potentially.
in terms of people, I never want to be the late, great Herbert Hoover. So this is the kind of thing that could cause a worldwide depression. Do you know that for the last 2 months, I've been taking many ships out there and nobody knew it? You know why they didn't know it?
Thanks for
Because
your
we knocked
opinion.
out their radar. We knocked out all of their defensive stuff, and
You
they were
obviously
unable to say, last week we had one night 25 ships, one night 22, one night 19, one night 21. So every night, for
You're
all
sneaking
these
ships
ships,
out.
oh, we should, a lot. That's how the
Wait, now that Myron's chat isn't here, chat, do you guys like Muslims? Yes or no? Let me see. Yes or no?
people were saying, where is this oil coming from? Nobody knew. We'd leave at 1 o'clock in the morning, all lights off, and we'd have our Navy destroyers going alongside, and they had no equipment because we destroyed all of the equipment that would normally be, used to detect this. And I went for a month and a half taking many ships out there every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were never detected until about a week ago. And then I announced that we're doing.
What did he just say? Hold on. Wait, while you guys are chipping out, Trump just gave me some nostalgia. Please, someone call it before I say it. Let me pull it up real quick. Hold on. What did Trump just say?
And we were never detected until about a week ago. And then I announced.
Like I said, it's just he went out drop. Like them six world, then he dropped. My millies on my about a week ago.
So we're doing it.
I think the New York Times had reported that you guys were engaged in that operation of 20 ships or whatever. I wanted to shift.
They shouldn't have. If they did, they shouldn't.
Well,
have.
they had good sources.
I mean, that's not very patriotic if they did.
Well, I did want to talk about Cuba and AI.
We'll do it, and we have to do it fast because they're waiting for me at a very important
So you had said if
They're
Cuba,
waiting for me. I gotta go to the ballroom. Ivanka's waiting. She got the best lingerie. Perhaps I'd be with her if I weren't in this meeting.
is, or better said, if Iran is finished, then it's time for Cuba.
Right.
Is there a clock, a countdown clock on Cuba?
It's a flexible line, but Marco is involved very much. Marco's doing a great job, by the way. All my people are doing a very good job. But Marco's parents, it's such a great story. His parents were from Cuba. So you do it.
Humiliating, bro. He's literally turning off the lights in his own country. It's worse. Who's worse, Rubio or PBD? PBD is encouraging, okay, I'm a bombs guy. Okay, finish the job. Bomb my entire country. Kill my cousin. Rubio is starving his own country, turning off the electricity. And you see him on stage when he was next to Trump, bro, he looks like his soul is gone. He used to be Trump's major opposition. He said Trump was going to be exactly what he is today. Look at him. Does that look like the face of somebody who's proud of his decisions? You almost feel bad for the guy.
Agree. I defeated Venezuela. Incredible.
100%.
I got him out
How do
of
you make
there.
the operation in Cuba look more like the Venezuela operation?
Well,
which
the difference is Venezuela has oil, Cuba doesn't. Cuba has nice property and they have a nice shoreline.
Right. How do you make it
They don't
look more like the Venezuela operation than the Iran operation? Iran operation took longer. Venezuela
No, I think the Iran operation, in a certain way, is much bigger, much more powerful from the standpoint of weaponry than Venezuela. But Venezuela is a very military state. You know, they have a lot of soldiers. You know, we went into that fort, and they had thousands of soldiers in, and we went in with 201 people. And that was the pilot was very brave. He had his leg shot from underneath with the machine gunner who who escaped a bad life, a bad death. So, no, I think that Venezuela, here's the thing. In Venezuela, it was so incredible, right?
Yeah.
And we waited and waited. And at the right time, I said, let's go do it now.
Myron chat, who's worse? Think about this or SNEAKO?
We waited for the weather. We had to wait 6 days. We had some really bad weather. You know, the pilot said, sir, we want to do it. We went in less than ideal. They didn't care. And it actually lasted 48 minutes. And this is an arm, you know, they have a lot of soldiers. They have a lot of good soldiers. If you look at Iran, they've been doing this stuff for 47 years. They've been taunting you and everybody else, all of the media, everything. They're very good with the press. They have a great fake media. And I put out a truth a little while ago. I said, if I had the white flag of surrender raised, and if they said, praise be to Allah, Trump is the greatest president, we hereby surrender, the New York Times would write.
Bro, he wants to be the final prophet, Trump. Praise be to Allah and Trump. You see the idol worship? It's shaitan rhetoric. Literal, like he wants to be worshipped in order to stop war. It's been, and look, he's saying that Iran's been taunting for 47 years. Look how the Israelis chimp out the second there's a peace deal. This is a member of Netanyahu's party.
פחות מתאים, נכון? זה הרבה יותר טוב.
Goof, boy.
That they won the war. They've lost so much credibility. So it's a very different kind of a place than Venezuela. But Venezuela, you know, we're running Venezuela with the people that we.
Do you see the Cuba operation running similarly to the way?
Possibly, it's possible. Well, there's another thing. These places are close by, whereas if you look at Iran, it's a very long trip. Mm-hmm. You know, I flew to that area a few times, and unrelated to this, but you're flying for 18 hours. You know, you're flying for a long time.
What was he doing in Iran?
Venezuela is relatively close, and Cuba's hopscotch.
Well,
I wanted to talk about.
We're going to have Marco get involved with Cuba. Cuba wants to talk very badly.
We're going to have Marco get involved with Cuba. Dude, it doesn't get any worse than that, bro. It doesn't get any worse. And he knows it. And he knows deep in his heart what he's doing.
We have a lot of people that voted for me, like 95%. And we're going to.
Some of your strongest support is in the Cuban American community.
That's right. I love them.
So wanted to present this to you, just the map of the Western Hemisphere. When you look at, I mean, not as a gift, right? But when you look at this, do you see this as a fundamentally American hemisphere? Is this fundamentally
more and more so? Yeah,
more and more so.
We're much more respected. So we had a man that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, and I don't want to talk about because if I ever trip a little bit, they'll say, "Oh, this is terrible." Okay,
respected leaders. It's understood. It's not said.
Happen, but you can't trip every time you go on a stage. We had a man that wasn't respected.
Speaking of Monroe Doctrine and Western Hemisphere and all this, Myron was one of the few that was right about Venezuela. I remember almost every single political commentator, I think who else got it right? Dave Smith? I was saying this and people were chipping out. Myron was on the right side. Myron understood what was happening. Who else? Everyone else immediately, yay! Fascism, yes. Stealing. Bombing a Christian country. Yes. Kidnapping, murder, theft. Yes. America. $2 billion of oil go to Israel, and immediately Iran war starts afterwards to get a new oil supply. Myron got it right. Everyone else is like, and there's no admittance of fault. You don't see them shift.
He wasn't smart 40 years ago. He was the worst thing that ever happened to old people, because I have old people, friends of mine that are 93, 95 years old. They're 100%. Gary Player, great golfer. I play golf. He shot 71. He's 90 years old, and he's mentally exactly the same as he was for the last 30 years. There are a lot of people. Biden was the worst thing that ever happened to old people, because you guys were not honest with the public. The public saw it. He was a disaster. And the worst thing he did, inflation was really bad, but that wasn't the worst thing. The worst, because I inherited all this stuff. Look at what's happening with prices. Now they're coming down. And with the oil, they're really coming down. I had to make an excursion to stop a very volatile group of people that are smart, very smart. The Iranians, very smart people. They're sort of primitive genius, but they're smart. Okay? I had to stop them.
Primitive genius. You look at the undercover way called the monkeys. Even though the average IQ in Iran is said to be 105, their education mogs America's. Even though they bombed their universities, the school of Manab. During Epic Fury, they targeted so many schools out of jealousy. But he still is like, it's primitive. Still has to find some way to dig at them.
Because if they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. And you want to see Bedlam? Let them blow up a couple of cities someplace like they would have blown up Israel. If it weren't for me, Israel would not exist today, because I terminated.
Oh, Kamala, 28. One more time. That sounded like music to my ears. Yes. Obama, if you can hear me. Michelle, if you.
If it weren't for me, Israel would not exist today.
Oh, bruv. Oh, yeah, bro. Drain the swamp. America first. It's so ridiculous to campaign on America first, no new wars, and then say, I created a terror state in the Middle East. It's so stupid that it pains me that he can say this sentence and still people will side with him and be like, yes, I want to put my country first, and you hate America if you hate Trump. It's so retarded that the one who said drain the swamp is saying he created the genocidal terror state in the Middle East. It's so...
Because I terminated the Barack Hussein Obama deal, the JCPOA, which was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have had it 5 years ago. They would have used it within the first week, in my opinion, and Israel would no longer be with us. Israel would have been gone years ago had I not done that. Now, what surprised me most is they waited so long. They waited till I came back. They didn't do it intentionally. They didn't think I'd be coming back. A lot of people didn't think so because of weaponization. They weaponized government. But I came back with a roar, but better than before, I think, better than before. And think of it. Israel would have been gone if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers. They were all that enriched material. They were 1 month away. It was right there. They could have walked down. They can't do that anymore. The B-2 bombers did their job with those great pilots. That's sitting, the mountain collapsed on top of it. It collapsed on top of it. Had we not hit them, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it on Israel. They would have used it also on Saudi Arabia. And you saw that on Qatar, on UAE, on Kuwait, Bahrain. Because when that war started, I guess my biggest surprise, almost immediately, missiles were flying at these 5 other countries. I said, why is he doing it? And you know what that did? That brought those 5 countries right into my lap. They were great.
And last one, artificial intelligence.
Excuse me, just 1 second. If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu worked well with me,
double down?
But he will tell you, we're the ones with the guns, we're the ones with the whole deal, we're the ones with the B-2 bombers, etc. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
With Netanyahu's.
It's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And no, you can't keep them following the memorandum of understanding. It didn't happen. This interview was 1 day ago, and already the strait is closed again. It's great. If you don't stay up to date with this war, it's like it can be on and off, and it's over, and it's an end of a civilization. Everything changes every day.
And they do as I say. Remember this. If I don't terminate the JCPOA, remember, that was a road.
JCPOA is almost identical to the MOU.
To a nuclear weapon. Legally. It says right there. And Obama thought he could pay them off. He gave them billions and billions of dollars, $1.7 billion in cash. It was a well-known story, but it didn't work. You can't bribe your way out of it. You can't pay off your way. But if I didn't do that, and if I didn't attack their nuclear supply 10 months ago with the B-2 bombers, Israel would not exist today.
And look how they repaid it.
They have a lot of respect for me. They really respect me.
כבר פחות מתאים, נכון?
Wow. So much respect. AI.
So artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Did not a very artful transition by me. Do you see artificial intelligence as a weapon?
Well, if improperly used, it could be. If properly used, I will tell you one thing. It's so big.
Yeah.
It is big like nobody's, bigger than the internet. It's bigger than I've seen the different things come along. It's an age where people like you, if we're nice, smart people like we are, we watch and we see what's happening. This AI is incredible. Now, it's unbelievable for good. You're going to have medical cures coming up 25 years early because of it.
Why are you saying Mossad? What happened? Did Mossad get me?
You're going to have other things happening, but you have to watch. We have
Real voice. Did we lag out? OSS, did you mess something up? What happened? Test. The voice, did we lag out? OSS, did you mess something up? Why does my voice sound like that? What the frick? Real voice. Okay.
Situation with Anthropic, and we didn't like what they were doing. And so far, I think they behaved very responsibly to our request.
Do you view Anthropic and to a degree its CEO, Dario Amodei, as a threat to national security?
Well, not now, but a week ago, maybe. I was with him yesterday. He made a speech. I made a little speech. We were in the room on the G7, and seems like a nice guy, smart guy. But he responded to us very quickly. Because, it's tremendous liability. People get put in prison immediately for that. You can't play games with that. And he responded very responsibly, I thought. So far, I think he will.
Do you have the power and the inclination to shut them down or possibly take them?
Well, I don't want to do that because I'm somebody that, we're beating China by a lot on AI. I was with President Xi. We talked about it. We're beating China by a lot. Everyone thought that we didn't have the electricity. I came up with an idea. I thought of it myself. I let them build their own electric plants when they're building their factories. That way they don't have to use an old grid. And they actually sell back into the grid at a cheap price, excess electricity. They need massive amounts. It's amazing, Mark. They need double the amount of electricity that this country produces for everything to run it. So I had the idea. I said, I'm going to let them. We don't have that kind of electricity. Really, nobody does. And they're building their plants, and they're building the most incredible electric producing factories you've ever seen. So we're leading China by a lot. It's going to be for the good, and we're watching for the bad. I think the good, let me put it a different way, the good far outweighs the bad. We are going to find the bad, and we're going to stop it.
You have the power to use the defense.
And then invite 500,000 students to come in through student visas from China.
Production
I have
Act,
the power to
potentially.
use a lot of things, yeah.
Would you consider using the Defense Production Act to possibly regulate or control AI or AI?
I would, but I'm not sure I have to do that. I think so far it's been very responsible. Actually, it was a competitor and a part owner that turned Anthropic in. They didn't like what they were doing. They were very concerned. Think of it.
Dude, Myron's emotes are crazy. This dude emoted Myron cooking dressed like a Jew. There's Kash Patel's eyes. And then an Indian guy that says, "Thank you, come again." Who designed this? There was a lot of time and effort. There's a SNEAKO think about this emote. There's this one. There's a Myron Gaines X Tyrone shit. What is this one? Myron Gaines Ahmed. What is this one? His dog Frank. Who?
Part owner. And I think it worked out very well, I think.
And France at the G7 had talked about having an international group that comes together. They want the United States to share more on AI. Well,
the problem we have is that we are leading everybody by a lot.
How is that a problem? And why would they cut right there?
Where are you as you wind down your presidency? You've got 2 more years.
Yeah. I don't call it a wind down. I think we got a lot of time. We have every 2.5 plus years.
Every presidency has a life cycle.
You guys agree with Jang? You think he's going to do that 3rd term? Is it going to happen? It sounds like it. Doesn't sound like this is a guy who's going anywhere. Bro, doesn't it feel like it's been 30 years since Trump's been president? Biden's presidency felt like a year. Well, like a year or 2 years. I feel like Trump's been the president for a decade.
Yeah.
And as a president comes to in a second term to his last midterm, his party usually loses control of the House. His poll numbers usually start to decline, and he starts to weaken. And
like,
that's
does anyone forget Biden was president all the time? Like, I'm constantly oh yeah, he was.
happening to you.
No, it's not. Fake polls. I have great poll numbers.
How do you maintain?
I would beat any candidate they have by 25 points.
Well, how do you maintain?
I have great poll numbers.
How do you maintain your power going forward? You have the Senate.
When the news glazes him, it's like, I love the great news, and then when it says something true about his approval rating, fake. When it's good, it's the best, and when it's bad, it's fake.
And
I don't think about it. No, I don't think about it. All I do is do my job.
He doesn't think about this?
You know, I have more than 2.5 years. I have a lot of time, but all I do is think about doing my job. And we have other things, very big things that I want to do in the next 2.5 years. Some very impactful things. Things are happening that aren't good, and I'm going to straighten them out. And some things are happening that should be better, and I'm going to make them better. This is a great presidency.
Are you going to miss being in this White House?
Well, it's so early. I don't like to talk about it because, 2.5 years is a pretty long time, in all fairness. I love the building. I'm fixing the building. I do that in my little side hobby. You see the granite, which was, they had...
My ballroom, my Malak room, my little side hobby during the war, building a little Epstein ballroom beneath the White House.
Stones, it's broken. The marble's broken. The tile they have is garbage from a low-class place that sells garbage. This is the White House. You saw the white floor, I assume. You saw the beautiful granite. I fixed it.
Myron Chat's still in here. Okay, what race are you guys? Be honest too. Maybe we should do a poll. What is the ethnic breakdown of this chat right now?
I pay for it myself. I don't want money. And the White House will soon be in better shape than it was. And most importantly, when it was built, I'm building what will be one of the greatest ballrooms and safety nets anywhere in the world. It's all bulletproof glass. It's all drone-proof roofs.
Which
It's
palace
actually a
did you
drone
enjoy giving missionary front shots and back shots more? Xena or Sarah?
court on the top of the roof with views of everything's very high up.
And you're going to be able to get there through the Senate. I know the Senate is.
Well, I don't need it through the Senate. I'm paying for myself. I don't know what they're talking about giving $1 billion. I don't need money from the Senate. I'm putting up my own money and the money of very great patriots. Apple, Microsoft, all. We don't need money. We have a judge that said he'd rather have it be put up by the government. Why? We're giving a gift of a tremendous military and also a very important ballroom for safety. You see how many, with all the whack jobs, all these crazy people, the bulletproof glass is this thick. Nothing gets through it. The drones won't hit it. They'll bounce off the roof. We're actually putting a drone port up that's very important, but we have a judge that probably doesn't like Donald Trump.
Wait, Myron's chat. Who did it? Who played the song in the club? Did SNEAKO did it? Who's responsible for that horrific night?
Fortunately, we have appellate judges that, I've done okay with the appellate judges, but I have not done so well with some of these judges that probably have Trump derangement syndrome. But I will say, just in finishing,
I vote in the poll.
we've taken Washington, D.C. from a death trap to one of the safest cities in America.
Mr. President, I appreciate your time.
One of the safest cities because of a ballroom underground. Hey, thank you for the 10 gift to Sammy. I appreciate them all. That's the end of this Cope interview. They cut out so much of it. It's 34 minutes. It was probably like an hour and a half, and they cut out all the parts that weren't going to make his approval rating better. This is him trying his best to save face after a disastrous loss. He's coping. He's deluding himself. Here's the race breakdown in the chat. So 42 or 34% white. Okay, be real though. How many of those white people are Mexicans and Indians and like people that are ashamed of their race pretending to be white online? How many of those like white nationalists are really just undercover? How many of you are spies that are ashamed of what you look like? Danny, thank you for the 5 get to. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Let's move on to other things, man. Cope interview.